Hello, hope you're doing great. Today I'm going to talk about how to make a very basic aim trainer using PyGame library, and it's a very easy thing to do. And by doing this, we actually learn some different ways that actually GUI programs works and how games works. It's going to be a very useful thing for us. So let's get started. First thing, I'm gonna import our PyGame module using import PyGame. After that, I'm gonna initialize our PyGame. This function is going to actually get things running for us in PyGame. So, very first thing that we want to do in a GUI program is actually make a surface to actually display the things that we want to display. Make a window to actually display different things. I'm just gonna do this by making a variable called window, and I'm gonna use pygame dot display dot set. Okay. By doing this, I'm gonna make a new display using our pygame library, and I'm gonna assign it to our window, and setMode just initializes a window for us. So setMode actually needs some arguments, and I'm gonna make a variable called window size, and it's going to be equal to our width and height of the window. We can use tuples, we can use lists. I'm just gonna use list. I'm gonna say 500 pixel by 500 pixel, and I'm gonna pass through our window size. After that, there's another function that actually fills our window using different color. I'm just gonna call it by saying window dot fill, and I can pass through any color I want. It's basically a background color. I'm gonna make a variable called background color, and I'm just gonna say white for this tutorial, and I'm gonna pass through our background color. And after that, you think actually everything is done and we can run our program, and that is actually not true. I'm just gonna run this code, and after that we can see what's wrong with our code. So two things happen. Very first thing, our window just spawn and despawn very fast and quickly, and that means we actually need to uh, make a loop that actually goes forever until we want to close our window. And second thing was that our window wasn't actually white, it was black. The reason is that we need to, whenever we actually change our display surface, we actually need to update our surface, and we can do that by just saying window dot, I believe it's flip. Oh no, pygame dot display dot flip. Yes, and by doing this, our display, which was our window, is going to be flipped and updated every time that this function is called. I'm gonna run this again. As we saw, our program background was white, but there is also another problem, and for that we're actually gonna use a endless loop called while true, right? And after that, our program is going to uh, run forever. Okay, as you can see, our program is going to work forever. There's another problem here, and I cannot close our program by it just crashed. I didn't close it, right? I'm gonna run it again. I cannot close it. As you can see, I'm clicking, but it's not responding, and it's just gonna crash. and using Control C I can actually, yeah. So there was two problems. First, the while loop is actually uh, spinning, looping so fast, and there are no functions for our game, and because of that, it had an error. And also, our close button didn't work. So the very first thing we actually need to discuss here is how inputs work in games, in different GUI programs, and those kind of things. There is a thing called event. Event is a basically every input that actually happens, uh, like clicking, like typing, like closing, any input in any kind of format, we actually call them events. And in PyGames, we also have events. And I'm gonna just make a variable called no events. And how we get those, we actually say pygame dot get events. How does that work? Pygame dot events dot get events. Yes, dot get. I'm sorry. So here there's a variable which is in a list format, I believe. It's gonna call events in Pygame and get every event that actually occurred in that frame. Okay, and after that, I'm gonna print our events. By printing events, we actually learned what events are. So I'm gonna print it and save it, and yeah, and let it run. As we can see, there are so many empty lists that are our events, and some often a new event appears there. So let me just close our program. So what actually happened is that every time event our pygame.event.get gets every new event that happened in that very frame. And because we are not actually limiting our frame in our code, it actually happens very fast and gets every new event that it finds. And after that, we call get, but there isn't any new event. Our get function actually returned our new events. And yes, so we can actually limit our frame rate using a object called clock in our pygame, pygame.time.clock. So these functions make a clock object which is going to be used for different things, different time dependent things in our program. And here we actually want to use the frame rate function, and I'm just gonna say clock dot tick and pass our frame rate. I'm gonna set it to 5 for example, and I'm gonna run it again. As you can see, our lists are printing very slower, and we can actually get new events, and we can actually see them. If I click, it's gonna register new clicks. If there isn't any new event, it's gonna give us empty lists. So 5 is very low frame rate. I'm gonna make it 30, and so now we got our events. We wanted to solve a very major problem, which was not being able to click our close button. So I'm gonna loop inside our events for event in events. I'm sorry, in events. And after that, if event dot type was equal to pygame dot quit, I'm gonna close our program. Close our program. I'm gonna just delete our event printer. So what here happens is, first thing, I'm gonna loop through our new events, and each item in our events list is going to pass through this for loop, and after that I'm gonna check if the type of our event, okay, if the type of our event was equal to pygame.quit. Pygame.quit is a very specific type of event which is going to be clicking the close button, right? And after that we want to, so whenever we actually click that, there is a event which its type is going to be pygame.quit, right? So after doing that, we need to close our program. How we can do that? So our program really depends on our while loop, right? And whenever our while is true, it's going to run our program, and whenever it's not, it's going to actually close our program. So I'm gonna make a variable like run, which means if our program is running or no, and I'm gonna assign it true for very beginning of our program. And after that, I'm gonna change the value of our var to run, and here by changing the run value to false, we can actually obtain the thing that we wanted. Whenever we actually close our program using that close button, which is actually a pygame.quit type of event, our run is going to be false and all of our program will be closed. Let's just check that. So it is our program, and whenever I click this, it's just closed our program.